Fantasy League.
Mr. Toastmaster, fellow Toastmasters, ladies and gentlemen, tonight I'm going to speak to you about soccer. Can you imagine yourself amongst your partner or your friends or family when they begin to discuss something you haven't got a clue about, or something or you haven't really got too much of an interest in as they have? But they go on and on and on and on until you feel invisible and bored out of your tree. Have you ever been in that position?
Yeah.
Yes. Well, that's how I used to feel when my boyfriend Phil and his friends used to gather around in front of a giant pub screen to watch soccer matches. Or when I met them out afterwards and they used to be talking about all of the scores that were had that day in the soccer matches. I used to have nothing to say. I used to be the dummy in those situations. And it's not often I have nothing to say about a topic. So I thought to myself, if you can't beat them, join them. So last August, at the beginning of the English Premier League soccer, my boyfriend Phil invited me to join in their Fantasy Premier League, just so I could be included in this year's soccer conversations. And probably to shut me up also. Does anyone here have a Fantasy League team? Or know what the Fantasy League is?
Yes.
Yeah, okay, some people do. Well, here's a brief synopsis as to how it works. Okay, so Fantasy Premier League is a points-based internet game run in conjunction with the English Premier League soccer. You pick a squad of 15 players using players from any of the 20 Premier League games or teams. You have a fantasy budget of £100 million to buy 15 players. For the first and last time, I was a millionaire. And I couldn't even spend it on shoes or dresses or new nails. And you also get to choose your own team's name and your jersey colours. So my team was called Clueless FC. And of course, my team's jersey had a pink and white stripes. So every week, you receive points for each player on your team, and based on their real performances in the actual Premier League games. If they are on your team and they score a goal, you get a certain amount of points for that, for them scoring the goal. So now I needed an awful lot of help at the start to set up my team at the beginning, as my knowledge on any players was very limited. Bar the good-looking ones, of course. Like, I knew who David Beckham was, but I found out that he no longer plays for the Premier League. And I knew the name, Wayne Rooney, for other hairless reasons, but I really hadn't a clue, and I needed a lot of help to set up my team. So it started out as fun. I was in a league with Phil and his brothers and his friends, 12 of us in total, 9 boys, 3 girls. Our league was called Green Snake. And all the lads in the league played soccer, and they had their own soccer teams. They followed their own soccer teams, and Phil supports Chelsea. I was being included in the soccer conversations for the first time, because I actually kept up to it a little bit, just a little bit at the start. But I found it very blissful, because I was beginning to have an interest in it. And so as the weeks progressed, all 38 weeks in total, I gained a lot of knowledge about soccer and the various teams and players. So I was getting very into it, almost hooked on it. I did some research each week to try and decide who I was to take out of my team and who was I to bring in. After a while, I was able to make all of the important managerial decisions all on my own. They say I can get very competitive. So 2 weeks ago was the second last week of the Premier League. I was on top of my game. I got 105 points in total, my best result all year. And Phil got 67 due to his wake team. So I moved up to 4th place and Phil dropped back to 5th place. So I was thrilled to bits, but I also felt a little bad for Phil because he was going to get an awful lot of slagging from his brothers. And yesterday was the final of the Premier League. I received 58 points. And Phil received 43. And here are the end results for our league. Our league was the Green Snake League, and I kept my 4th place, Clueless FC, 4th, Rachel, and my points were 2,217 in the end. But Phil got pipped at the post yesterday in the final, and Paddy moved into 5th, so Phil had to move to 6th, and his team was I'll surely win it. And Shorla is a Chelsea player, if you don't know, but so Phil got 2,162 points. I'd say he'll be coming to me for advice next year. However though, there is no money to be won or to be made from this fantasy league. It's an awful pity. I'll let you in on a secret though. I still don't understand the offside rule. Thanks for listening.